Welcome back to the channel. This is the final episode of this season of Sister Wives, before all the tell-alls, and I believe it's going to be an emotional one. They are in Wyoming, and it's about them putting Garrison to rest. So I think it's going to be an important episode, but a difficult one to get through. And unfortunately, I'm flying solo again. My wife Allison is working in San Francisco, so I've got to hold down the fort on my own. So as always, hit the like button. Let Allison know in the comments how I do.
I mean, Garrison's death has been so tragic, but it has brought the family together in a lot of ways. I mean, definitely there's still not reconciliation with Kody or anybody like that. But
I may be jumping to conclusions here, but I believe it was months later after Garrison's passing that they ended up burying his ashes. And the fact that there's been no reconciliation I don't understand how Kody could go through this and not figure it out. Unless the kids are totally unwilling. I can imagine if I were Gabe, for example, maybe they're just like, we want nothing to do with you, and the ship has sailed for Kody.
I'm taking photos all the time.
right before he died.
Go fish for a little bit.
It's awful, huh?
Okay, hit the button.
You think it's okay until it hits you. Just I can't ever tell when it's gonna hit.
I probably don't need to say this, but it seems obvious, but that's a very common experience. Not just the kind of constant undercurrent of emotion, but the idea that the emotion comes out in a very unpredictable way. And from a clinical standpoint, you often hear clients express frustration over the fact that they can't tell when they're going to lose control of their emotions. And so, there's always a big effort on the part of the therapist to normalize that expression, but also to help clients not fight it, but schedule time, give themselves time to grieve. Because if you move through your entire day trying to white knuckle it, then the emotion spills out kind of when you don't want it to. So it's better to sort of give yourself the space to really grieve.
I got to get back to productivity, and that helps me focus. Oh, okay.
When I see Janelle, you can understand from her perspective, I have to get through this horrific time, so I'm going to just busy myself so I can survive. But if you busy yourself, then the emotion will spill out when you don't expect it to, super common.
Because he was so knew what he was doing, so in control. It's a lot of fun. It's rare, it's yummy.
Gross.
It was a weird experience because I'm not getting along with Janelle. But I asked her if I could do this, and she was kind and gracious. I need this.
I think I agree. I think it's kind. I think it's gracious. I think it's all those things from Janelle. And if I were her, there's no way in hell I'd let him do it. After everything that he's done, all the pleading from the kid, from Garrison, I'm impressed with Janelle that she's able to put that aside and do something for Kody. There's no way I would.
Life is a gift. It's a gift. More than ever before, it's a gift. And you got to create opportunities, and you have to create memories.
Well, that's the first time, I think, in a long time that Leon's been filmed by TLC. I am surprised at the extent to which the family is giving TLC access. I'm sort of not sure how I feel about it. As a viewer, I'm happy, but I'm not sure I'd want I can't believe that they want the camera crew there throwing drones up there while they're grieving. I don't know.
I talked to the sexton of the cemetery, and I just asked him permission if I could dig it. It means something to me. I don't know why.
I think I'd dig the grave too. I'm trying to think of what's the why from a psychological standpoint does he want to dig the grave? I don't know. I don't know, but my assumption would be that it would feel lazy, or it would feel distant, or it would feel there's just less connection if you have some strange person put your son in the ground or prepare the ground for your son. I think this is it's sort of like it's like a tangible thing you can do to support. It's like the last tangible thing that Kody can do to support his son, right? He can, things obviously between them didn't go well, but he's going to demonstrate that he cares about him. He's going to demonstrate that he's involved. He's going to care for Garrison all the way into the grave. I think that's psychologically what's happening. And I don't know how common that is, but it makes sense to me that it would be a very typical thing for members of the family to want to participate in that way.
Kody contacted me about being the one who dug the grave. I think it's symbolic and poetic and all the things to have Kody dig that hole.
I hate that I can see that everybody is mic'd up. I just, the more I think about it, the more I see it, the more I just think, like, this episode, the burial, TLC should not be involved. I think this really is Kody's. This is an ode to Garrison. This is Kody putting his son to rest. I believe the storyline, and I just can't imagine trying to do that while you got a camera guy behind you with a boom mic over you. I mean, I don't know. This is such a meaningful thing that they're doing, and like it just sort of takes the shine off of it because the camera crew is right there.
I don't remember telling my boys when we were at the funeral home. I was like, they're taking over. They're running the show, and I'm like, stop, please. I was the first one that held him. Let me do this.
This is so hard. Right, because you're hearing Kody's story, Kody's perspective, Kody's need as a father to take over and to own, right, to close the circle, as he says. But you can also imagine his brothers who have kind of, it's been Garrison and his brothers against the world for a long time. So I can imagine if I am one of the brothers conceding to, conceding to Kody at this stage of the game would be, I imagine there's very complicated emotions there.
So the family's gathering. There's going to be some awkwardness still. We've got a lot of family that still bristles at the presence of other family.
Isn't it interesting that Kody, I think this is the third episode regarding Garrison's passing, and I don't think I've ever heard Kody say, there's friction with me. There's friction between me and my kids still, right? He alludes to there's problems in the family or there's interpersonal, there's odd dynamics still. And it's like, Kody, the friction is about you. This is not some, abstract dynamic that's happening all around you. It's about you and the relationship with your kids. And I wonder if Kody, to sort of protect himself, to protect his ego, if he has to sort of tell himself that it's outside of him. Like, he can't be the center of the storm.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for the opportunity to conduct this service.
Okay, I do like that you can tell that TLC is filming from essentially the parking lot. People are mic'd up, but TLC is not intruding in the moment.
And I have a faith that I will be reunited with my loved ones and that we will rejoice in a mutual embrace again. Amen.
It really was, it really was a beautiful sermon. I don't know what to say beyond that. It was beautiful.
And I feel like there's some symbolism in me handing him to Kody. And even though Kody and I have our big differences, in that moment, we were just parents.
It's so sad. I think we as the viewers have to, like Janelle said it well there. In this moment, when they're going through this experience, they're just grieving parents. And it is, I can feel myself, like everything that Kody does, I feel myself being critical of it or wanting to be reactive to it or like wanting him to suffer, right? But he is suffering. Janelle is suffering. And you can see there in that exchange, she's wanting to hand the urn to him. She's wanting the support from him. She does view it like they're just parents. Like all this other shit that I'm thinking about, that others are thinking about, I think in this moment, they're just parents.
Kody was able to bring his boy home, put him in the earth, put him in the ground, put him to rest.
I hate that Robyn, I'm just going to say, I feel like everybody's, I don't know what Robyn's grief process is, but it's hard for me. I just don't know why she's never talking about her relationship with Garrison, like ever. And I understand that they had friction at the end, but I mean, they did spend time together. I just don't understand why. Maybe they're not showing it, or she's not able to talk about it, but her role in the last 3 episodes has just been that of a sort of a support system or even a narrator for Kody's experience. She's the only one that's not sharing her own loss. And she's lost something too.
I'm angry at the way things happen, but I can control how I react and how I reciprocate. And I'm still deciding how I do that.
I think that's perfectly said. If I were Madison's therapist, I would say, you have a right to your emotional experience. You have a right to be angry with Kody, and you have the ability, you should feel empowered to respond to him however you want. Like you can reciprocate if he reaches out, or you can ignore him if he reaches out. You have the power, Madison, to own the relationship with your dad, versus being in a position where you feel like, where she feels like she has to do whatever he wants, or she has to do whatever her siblings want her to do, right? Like she could be in a place where she feels like the agency is with other people, when really it should be with her. It should be with each individual child. And if I were talking to Kody, I would say, you better be fucking persistent. You better make it up to these kids. You better let them know how much they mean to you, right? My biggest fear sitting from the outside is that Kody creates this massive rift in the family, loses a child. His other kids are reasonably furious with him, and he reaches out, gets rejected, gets offended, and then loses the relationships forever, right? Like I hope he shows some resiliency and persistence in reconnecting, because he has a lot to prove. I think he has a lot to prove to his kids. I thought it was a good episode, right? I think the last 3 episodes were really well done. In the middle of this episode, I was feeling like TLC was overstepping, but I think they've obviously worked with the Browns to create an arrangement where it didn't feel like it was too much. And I feel honored that, I feel like as a viewer, I got to participate in the funeral in a way that I didn't expect. So I appreciate them doing that for us. I think the last 3 episodes have been really interesting and important as we've watched the family grieve and how different people grieve in a variety of ways. And I've tried, as I've reacted, to be genuine in my reaction, but also sort of note that there is not one right way to grieve, and we should all be really careful about how much judgment we lobby against the different people, because of their reactions to Garrison's passing. And I want to stand by that like if you objectively look at it, there is no room for us as viewers to have critical appraisals of anybody because of how they reacted to his passing. Everybody grieves differently. So I think it's been good. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I look forward to next week. Allison will be back, and we will have the tell-all episodes to go through. Okay, thank you for listening.